Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for episode 54 of Idiots on a Mic. I'm traveling today. That's why we're running so late. Rod currently on his honeymoon, so he could not be on with us today. That would not have boded well for him and his future. So, Tommy, thank you for filling in. I saw you. What were we mixing up there before the show started? Yeah, a little concoction happening.
I made myself a Manhattan.
Oh.
Yeah, if you need to know, I am 80 years old, but they're delicious.
Now, do you make that noise when you stand up, or
Only in the morning?
only in the morning? Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you're the most shrunken, and also when your bones apparently are just so brittle.
That's it.
But glad you could take the time. I know if something comes up, you'll have to step off, and that's where I'll kind of fill in with a bunch of random bullshit, and hopefully be able to talk out of my ass for X amount of minutes while you're away. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got scientists are claiming that aliens are like communicating with each other via blinking stars. Not entirely sure what that's all about. We'll get into that a little bit. Russia's making killer robots. Apparently, they've already got militarized robots. I don't know if we're behind the game on that or what the case may be. We got dinosaurs that look an awful lot like dragons. Now, I know you're a Game of Thrones guy yourself as well, correct?
I was, yep. It's been a while since I've watched them, but yeah, definitely when they came out.
Up until the bitter end, and then the last season was dog shit, and nobody cared about it anymore.
That's just it.
So we'll dive into that a little bit again. I know we've touched on that before. And we're going to wrap it up with maybe the end of the world. PepsiCo and Boston Beer Company are both teaming up together to come out with the Hard Dew, which is basically Four Loko 2.0. As far as I'm concerned, I kind of have a theory about this. We'll get into it at the end of the episode once we hit that article. But I think we're in for something big here. But before we get started with that, had to put on the St. Louis shirt. I know for you being a Cubs fan, it's hard to even recognize who is on your team anymore. Sorry to hear it. I'm not sorry to hear it.
You know, we won a World Series in 16, so I'll take that. You know, in my lifetime, I get to see it. I'm cool with it. I could die happy.
That's fair. I mean, there were generations of people who did not get to see them win a World Series between the 108 years, 1908 being their last one prior to winning it in 2016. So kudos to you guys, I suppose. Hang on to that for a while. I've been hanging on to the 2005 hat for quite some time. We're on the up and up, though. So
if La Russa doesn't, screw it up for you guys.
Every time the bench is clear now, I look for where La Russa is. I don't give a shit who's in the middle of the pile. I like to see where La Russa is. He's just coming off like the top rope he's coming off the top of the dugout, giving a bow to somebody. I'm there for it because the energy now, it takes him quite some time. His old ass energy is maybe moderate energy for people our age, but just the fire he brings when there's benches clearing is phenomenal.
He stumbles to get there. I've noticed that. He might be a little drunk. It looks like he's doing the bat challenge where you're going around in circles, and then they just let La Russa go, and it's just like
I want him mic'd up for one of these moments because I just want to hear him like eat it on the steps. Just get fuck like a muffled shit while he's in the grass, standing back up. Like going to which one of you sons of bitches wants it?
Right. I just like the ball boy there. It's just like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about.
La Russa's leaning up against the bat, but it's like one of those like souvenir bats with the big straw, and it's just full of the daiquiri. He's just leaning on it, just at the end of the dugout. Okay.
Right, making pitching changes, and they're up to bat.
Yeah, Yeah, but I gotta say, oh, Mama Steel, it's past your bedtime. Thank you for joining in with us today. I gotta say, I'm incredibly excited for the La Russa era now. I mean, the way we've made some moves that I don't think the standard White Sox team would have made, going out and getting Kimbrel and Cesar Hernandez has actually been playing really well for us, so no complaints there. I'm excited. That's going to fizzle out once football starts because, the Bears bear down. Gussie Town Brown Bears.
Time. Justin Fields time.
That's right. Yeah, poor Andy Dalton. Oh, hey, man. Guess what? You're going to be the face of the franchise. Psych, motherfucker. Go take a seat. We traded up. And we're going to take Justin Fields, so pack your bags.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted, that whole month in the offseason for him.
I did read an article. I want to get your take on this. I read an article, and Mitchell Trubisky came out, and he's like, you know what? I wanted to go somewhere initially where I was going to be a starter. That didn't happen. Now I'm somewhere where I can still progress and where people actually want me there. Taking a shot at the fans, basically saying, which – to his credit, he was thrown in a shit situation,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he had the 2 years to prove himself. He didn't do it, and then they were immediately, he's not our guy. We got to find somebody else. But I could see that happening. The Bills going all the way like a full situation, getting it all the way to a playoff game, and then Trubisky gets thrown in and he's just a superstar stud, and then somebody signs a long deal like the Jaguars, and then he goes there to die.
Oh, absolutely. You can have Tim Tebow catching your little fucking hook and ladders for the rest of your career.
Right. But I don't know. I'm getting excited for it. We'll see what happens. College football underway here in 3 weeks? So it's coming up.
Yeah. Quick. Illinois gonna be a good team this year.
The running team. Thanks, Bielema.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. I'll pull up my first article here. I don't have my split screen since I am out of town. Bear with me here, everybody. So we've touched on a few different things recently. Rod and I have. And black holes have been a topic of discussion as of late. Astronomers are now finding that there's dancing ghosts. There's these auras, basically, that are moving in space around black holes, which, by the way, I thought black holes just consumed everything. Turns out they don't. I don't know if it's just they can only consume stuff in one direction, but we're finding light behind black holes. Not entirely sure, but this is an Australian astronomer, so he's probably all boozed up on Foster's, just coming out with this random shit, and he got me. Like, if this article was for anybody, it was me, and I had to bring this into the show. We've talked, we're a big alien show. I don't know, this is aliens. Yeah, look at this.
It's alien-esque.
Alien-esque. I believe in aliens more than I believe in ghosts. So when they kind of put the ghost label on it, I went, this is bullshit. But I mean, it sounds like there's some validity behind it. To me, it's just like, is this like a Northern Lights kind of situation, just out in space, and it moves and it dances, blah blah blah, and like, this looks like a picture where someone just took a shitty projector and like projected something from a distance, so it's all blurry up onto this black and white wall, and they pass it off as spectral ghosts or oral ghosts or dancing, or not oral as in like a ghost, but
yeah, I got you. Aura.
yeah, aura, AURA.
Oh, it's
but
you don't know what to make of it. I mean, could be. Maybe it's they're pulling energy out of something, going back to something else. Somebody's collecting it, and then aliens are collecting it, bringing it back to their ship or something.
At this point, the more and more we see these things, the more and more I buy into Rod's theory that we're all in a simulation. And as goofy as it is, I sat here for probably 20 episodes now, and I've been like, "Shut the fuck up, dude! Like that's not a real thing. You're talking out of your ass. You sound like you should be wearing a tin hat and all that stuff." Now I'm like, it makes sense. I think these things just pop up at particular times to get our attention, and they're just like, "Oh, you want to see what the humans do today when we add this into the simulation?" And we're like, "Yeah, okay, like let's see." And then we just have a global Truman Show situation taking place.
That could be. The more you think about it, like the stuff that just happens in your day-to-day life, you're like, yeah, it's definitely a simulation, because you're like, you don't want this to happen, you don't want this to happen, and then it happens because it's like someone's like, you know what? Let's see what happens when we throw this at them. Simulation time.
And so I'm glad you bring that up, because today was like a Murphy's Law day for me. I don't know if you've been traveling again recently, but travel has been absolutely atrocious. Airlines stink. Rental car places stink. It's terrible. I flew from Columbus to Chicago. Didn't have any issues. You know, Columbus being a smaller airport, it's easy to get to and through there. I get to Chicago, Midway, which, by the way, that Big City Chicken or whatever it is over by the B gate, that's some good shit. I don't know. I don't know how often you're running through Midway, but
it's been a while. But yeah, no, I've been through there. I don't know, probably within like 2 years.
It's good. They got breakfast sandwich and it's scrambled eggs with fried chicken and bacon on it. Top notch. Grab myself a sandwich. Everything goes well there. Usually you wait there for quite a while. Wasn't the case this time around. Got through it. Go to sit over by my gate, and I was in one of those weird gates that's like off on its own.
Sure.
I go to sit down, and they make an announcement. Hey, by the way, we basically overbooked you guys. So there was a weight issue because of the way the weather was. They needed 14 passengers, 14 to get off the plane. So this was before we even boarded. So they said, you have one of two options. Either 14 people can come up and volunteer and you guys will get vouchers, or the last 14 people that are going to board this plane, you guys are off and there's nothing you can do about it. And I checked in late last night, and I'm like, I'm starting to sweat, but I got A-list. Got to do this, the Southwest. You got to fly enough with Southwest so you can get A-list. And then between the A group and the B group, you get to say, ha to all you motherfuckers that are standing behind you and board earlier. And if it wasn't for that, I probably would have been one of the last people and would have been kicked off, which would have been fine because I got on the plane. We were already a half hour late from when we were supposed to take off. And then we sat on the runway for an hour probably before we even left. Traveling stinks.
Yeah, it's been a while for me, so I don't miss it too much. But I've heard from guys that are traveling right now through work that it's getting bad. So
yeah, be thankful. Be thankful because I have not had a good experience the past couple times I've traveled. Went out to a wedding in Dallas at the end of June, and I didn't think we were going to make any of our flights.
Oh, really? That would be was that a connecting one too? Did you go most of your stuff Columbus to Chicago and then Chicago to wherever you're going?
Yeah, which is horrible when you're going from Columbus to Chicago, nice short flight. And then they don't break it up. It's like, all right, now you're going from Chicago all the way to San Diego. So have fucking fun with that. Instead of a layover in like Denver. So it's like 2.5 hours. No, sir. Buckle up. It's going to be a long fucking day for you.
Right. I definitely do not miss those days.
So we're having all these issues, but one thing we can do now is we can actually send rat sperm via mail.
I was reading this article
Mouse
when you
sperm.
sent it. Inside, when you scroll down a little bit, it talks about how it sticks two pieces of plastic between it after they freeze dry it. And I was like, smart. They don't have to use tape or anything. It'll stick right to it.
Yeah. I don't know why we're doing this. I like what what is, I understand for scientific reasoning, I suppose, but why are we utilizing so much mouse sperm that we have to find a viable way to transport it from one place to the next without it having any issues?
I think they just want us to think that it's because we're checking out the mice sperm, but really the scientist wants to write a new kind of love letter to his gal pal back home that he could just, instead of just, hey, I love you, like, hey, just to let you know, I'll put a little something extra in this letter for you. It's freeze dried, but I'll be there soon.
Yeah.
Could be. I don't know. I can't think
Hang
of
on,
another
sweetie.
reason.
You like that?
Yeah.
You think that's
soon.
cool? I just, it cracks me up. And here's the issue I have with this. We're spending money on discovering these things. Because here's what's going to happen as far as I'm concerned. Here's the only useful thing for this, kind of like what you said, but more of a prank value. You just go, hey, man, sent you that letter, got you a little gift card in there, whatever, happy birthday. Guess what? It's just freeze-dried goo between two pieces of paper. Here you go. Happy birthday, asshole.
Just write this big long thing. By the time you're done reading this, you would have touched my sperm this many times. Enjoy.
Yeah. Hope you didn't put that in your mouth, you idiot.
Right. Yeah, that's the other part. Who's the scientist that didn't have a good week where they're like, all right, you get to lick the envelope this time? I'd be like, oh yeah, don't sign up for that job. But yeah, to your point, who's funding this? Who's going, you know what? We need scientists for this. And then some, guys at a party are like, what do you do? It's like, well.
First of all, okay, so follow-up question to that. How are they getting the sperm from the mice? Is there a guy for that?
That's probably the other guy. If you don't lick it, then you're jerking them off. I don't know.
They're drawing straws. Hey, there's two short ones. There's
right.
two short ones. I like. So the last sentence here, however, this study raises the intriguing idea that human spermatozoa could be preserved and transported by less cost, more secure, space-saving, and simple methods. So this is for rich people in some way, shape, or form that they're like, they're creating the perfect child. And they're like, okay, give me the sperm from some Jamaican. I want him to be the fastest man or woman alive. Send that over to me. We're going to have this baby. He's going to be paying my bills by the time he's 22 years old and he's in the Olympics.
Right. So a plug right there. So I do a shout out. So hometown Rice Lake, Wisconsin, Kenny Bednarik won silver medal for the 200 meter.
Hey.
So, Rice Lake kid, hometown, coached him when he was 8th grade football. So it's kind of a cool. So I just had to make that connection there with the whole track thing. So, how
much of the Olympics did you watch? Did you get to catch a lot of it? I don't think NBC really spaced out there. I don't just the timing of when the events were. I don't think there was very exciting ones on during like prime time.
Yeah, it was, just the track and field stuff is mainly what I watched. I like watching the sprinters just because it's a quick event. Obviously, we had a hometown guy there, so I wanted to watch the 200 meter. But even like the 100 meter relays, the hurdles, like all that stuff is cool to watch just because it's such a quick event. It's not like, I don't know, you sit there and watch some of the other ones that could go for a couple hours and you're like, all right, this is boring. I'm not fully invested in water polo.
And yeah, to your point, which there was, so if you had like the NBC Sports app on a smart TV or whatever, they had a channel that was dedicated to either like Team USA highlights, or they would just go like from thing to thing and it would just be clips of it. And that I was fully invested in that because
Okay.
the water polo, while I have a huge appreciation for it, I can't just sit down and watch it. So if they only show the goals, I'm there for it. That's fantastic. The cycling, the indoor cycling, I don't understand in the slightest bit because they'll pit just, it's just like a 1v1. One person kind of starts ahead, the other person trails behind. And they're like, oh, you have an advantage to being the person behind because you can surprise them and start a sprint whenever you want and shit like that. This is for the pinky up sons of bitches that have the money to just be able to go and do sports like this. I've never seen anybody train for this before, ever.
No, never. Yeah, some of those are. You think they just need new, I don't know, competitions there. Some of the stuff has been going on forever.
Let's create a sport. Let's put everybody on a level playing field. Let's all, as a world, create a new sport and then put the best of the best in it. And that I'd be invested in for sure.
They made a movie called Hunger Games. I think that's what you're looking for.
So, well, if Rod was here, yeah, he could tell you all about that. He's fully. So his thing is he wants to pit death row inmates, put them in like a gladiatorial style ring, have them fight, X amount of fights, then they get, whatever reward. Maybe it's years off their sentence, or if they're death row inmates, maybe they have an actual like sentence in terms of years and not just a death sentence. Maybe it's just something from the commissary, like a pack of cigs will go a long way in prison. So something like that. But he wants to turn this into a pay-per-view event and just rake in the money off of people watching other people kill each other.
There's some sick-minded people out there. I'm sure they'd watch it and be like, yep, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. I don't know.
I mean, they've made movies about this before with like Death Race or Gamer and things like that. But to the degree that here's what I say. All right, you do it like an amateur wrestling match, which it blows my mind that amateur wrestling is like actual wrestling, and then professional wrestling is the scripted events that take place and everything. Yeah, your grandson does have issues. More than one. But this would be one to start with. And so we have them do amateur wrestling, like Greco-Roman wrestling or something like that. Whoever loses has to lick the stamps or lick the envelopes that get sent out with the mouse sperm and or potentially human sperm, I guess, is the route that we're taking. And then that's your punishment as a loser. And then a winner gets maybe like a carton of cigarettes.
Right. I like it. We got to start, trademarking this or getting some plans put together so we can get some investors involved.
Yeah. Dana White, if you're watching this, we do have a new formula for the UFC and where we can really make some money.
Yeah. Hear us out.
Yeah. You're going to have to get past some of the weird stuff, but once you do, I think you're going to realize that we really got something going here. All right. Let's move along to our next article. And this one I was kind of happy for because I'm a little curious about dolphins to begin with, but we have this thing here. These dolphins are trapping fish. So they're just creating this big mud ring, like you see how they're generating the mud ring, and they're just trapping fish. They're not. I don't think they. Oh, I guess they do eat fish, don't they? What the fuck do I know, dude? This is the one we should have had Hondo on because he did zoology and all that shit. But right. I think everybody wants to believe that dolphins are these nice, sweet, which they are intelligent. Don't get me wrong about that, but I think they're absolute assholes. I think dolphins are a scam. I think sharks are the aquatic sweethearts, and I think dolphins can all just go fuck off because they build these packs. Have you ever heard of how dolphins will actually attack sharks and they'll just like ram their nose, their the bottlenose into the gills of the shark?
Just trying to take them out.
I guess. Dolphins are the true aliens. They do that weird echolocation stuff. They do the way they sound and how they communicate.
Them and whales. Don't trust either.
Yeah,
they're the same.
So my fiance is a big orca person. She loves orca whales, blue whales, all this. She loves all the whales, and I personally don't see the appeal because they're terrifying. One, because they're absolutely massive. There's nothing you can do to stop them. And two, the way they communicate seems very suspicious, very unworldly, to the point where maybe they were dropped. I started reading this book, and I think it's going to keep me up at night. So this book is, I think it's called Are We Being Watched? And it's all about space and how we want to continue to explore space and what might be out there and everything like that. And one of the first questions it poses is, is the Earth created by earthly things, or did some other species plant, maybe it's like grass or anything like that, or these microbacteria and things, to watch them grow into what we are as human beings today. And it kind of made me wonder, like, how this whole thing really kicked off here.
Yeah, no, I would think, I don't know. It makes me, when you bring that up, it makes me think of, have you ever seen that South Park episode where they have the killer whales and they're like watching, and the guys like who work at the theme park start talking, and like they say that they're alien, and then they get Mexico to use their space program to shoot the whale back up to the moon or something, and at the end it's just like dead on the moon. That's what made me think of that right away, and it was
What? And here's the thing. So yes, one of the things Megan and I intend to do is go whale watching on our honeymoon. But keep in mind, I will have a close eye on these motherfuckers. I will be recording them, see if I play it backwards, if it's some demonic language that they're speaking or anything like that. Or I send that into NASA, and maybe we decode this thing and really hear what they're up to. Elon probably understands them, so we'll send it off to him and make sure that he can decode the information that we should be getting, that we didn't know we needed.
They're probably from the same planet, Elon and the whales.
If I had to guess. I'm interested to read this book. I can't credit the author because I don't care who wrote it. I just want to read the fucking thing. But I'll have to let you guys know and keep you updated in terms of where I get with that one. But let's move on to our next article here. Since we're just kind of flowing right along with the topic of aliens, now we got to talk about that aliens may be communicating via starlight. I believe I'm fully invested in this. This has to be accurate. We're not just seeing new stars, or if they kind of look like they're blinking or something, like they're just using Morse code. They're using the oldest, like one of the older forms of communication via the stars, and we just have no idea. That would be pretty wild.
Are they trying to communicate with us, or are they communicating with themselves, like from alien to alien?
So I think they're trying to communicate with each other without us, without having to actually transport from one place to another. This is the whole mouse sperm situation. Like, we need to get this from point A to point B as discreetly as possible without having to put it in like a biohazard bag or something and send it out. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make these stars blink. Maybe it's like a dimmer, like they're just turning them up, turning them down, turning them up, turning them down, in a sequence that allows them to communicate with each other.
I think they're sending like dick pics and stuff back and forth.
If I had to guess, probably, and it's different species too. So it's like, hey, you want to see this? Your dong is fucking weird, man. Our species don't look like that.
So a real Rick and Morty situation there.
By the way, are you all the way caught up on the episodes?
Yeah, I am.
I'm like 2 or 3 behind. So the last one I watched was when Jerry hangs out with the demons because the demons actually enjoy the displeasure of hanging out with Jerry. What do you think of this season? Do you think it's a good run so far, or
awful? The past. So you got to get caught up. So the last episode that just aired on Sunday, this past Sunday night, was probably the best of the whole season. So it was actually, I don't know. Maybe I'm more of a storyline guy. Like I like to have some of that stuff combined together rather than try to bring new stuff in. Like they have some good stuff going, and it's like, okay, I want to find out more about that. Tell me more about that, and then it goes completely off to something else.
And it's tough because I, like you, probably in the very beginning, I was fully invested in just the randomness and the fact that there was like, you just didn't know what to expect each episode. And now that feeling has kind of gone away, it's not doing it as well as it used to. Now I enjoy the show still, but you talk about seasons 1 through 3, I think were the best by far. Even if you just honed it down to season 1 as a whole was phenomenal. But then you get into like last season with the slut dragon and all that stuff, and they just kind of carried it over. It seems like they've become like a very sexually charged show, which there could be a lot of humor in that. That's fine, but it definitely is not what it was.
No, I think it could get back there, and maybe they're just trying to like, all right, let's get all the true fans to stick on here and keep watching, and then we'll get some of these other guys off. But I don't know, like they could have the content there. And when you watch those first, like you could rewatch, season 1 through 3, and you'd sit down and be like, oh yeah, this is a classic one. This is hilarious. This happens during it, and then you kind of get to 4, and you're like, all right, some of these are good, and then 5, it was like, all right, what's going on here?
Yeah. And there's nothing super memorable about the episode so far this season to me, to where I'm like, you could quote it or anything like that. And give me the old Rick antics where it's just like he secretly wants to party. Now they've honed too much in on the existential dread Rick, where there's this underlying depression about him, which, I mean, maybe that's their aim, and they're trying to bring that into the forefront, into society as a whole, which, if that's the case, kudos to them. It doesn't necessarily seem like they're the types to be front runners for mental health or anything like that by any means, just based on the way the show is programmed. But
yeah.
They're really burying the Rick character at this point. Just give me the bullshit, take people on an adventure that don't want to be on adventures kind of deal. Give me my favorite episode is when they went with that like superhero group or whatever.
That was great. I love
He's like, ooh, yeah, high alert, real fucking high alert over here. And he just gets drunk and kills all of them is like what he ends up doing. Say that's a memorable episode. You don't have anything like that so far.
Yeah, that one's great. Even up until the end when he's like Morty thinks it's him, and it's like it's Noob. He's like, the fuck is Noob? Like
it's
that one, yeah.
Or the Purge one. The Purge one's a great one also.
That was a great one too, yeah. So those are classics.
So speaking of, the Forever Purge is supposed to be coming out, or it did come out. Are you a Purge movie guy?
I watched the first one, and I I liked it for what it was, and I didn't watch any of the other ones just because I figured, well, they're all going to be pretty similar. But I don't know. I think I was having that conversation with my friends one time, and they're like, what would you do if there was, a purge? I everyone's like, oh, I don't know, I go over and hide in the tree and like have my rifle, whatever. And I was like, I got a list. I'm going after everybody on my list. And everyone just looked at me like, what is wrong with you? It's just like, I don't know. Like, all you guys want to hide in trees and stuff. Like, I'm coming for you. But I don't know. It's good. I mean, I don't know.
So I would actually suggest I think it's USA is the one that owns it. They have a Purge TV show. The TV show I thought was excellent. Very well done. Very cringy, on the edge of your seat. What's going to happen next kind of deal. Psychological thriller. The movies, yeah, like you said, for what they are, they're entertaining, certainly. It's not something I'd go out of my way to watch. Now, while we're on the subject of watching things, HBO Max hosted The Suicide Squad, which was kind of a reboot, kind of not a reboot, kind of a continuation deal. Did you happen to see it? Did you like it?
Didn't see it yet. I'm way behind. I've been super busy as far as like just work and stuff around the house. So I have not gotten a good chance to sit down and and watch some new movies, but it is on my list of things to watch. I can't even think of what we've watched here recently. Although I think the last thing I watched was Invincible. I think that was the last thing I watched. So and that one caught my attention after towards the end of the first episode. I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and watch this. And I think I finished it in that week. I was just like, all right, I think I'll take an extra half hour at lunch today and watch a little bit more here.
Yeah. And that's the beauty. Now, I will say this much as I complained about traveling early in the episode, that's the beauty of traveling is I download all these episodes. I get caught up on everything. Like I've got the 3 Rick and Morty episodes all downloaded, ready to go. When I hit that plane, the Wi-Fi shuts off for X amount of time. It's go time. That is the sweet spot. That's when I catch up on all my TV shows. It's easy to get judged when you're watching shows like that, though, on a plane, because people want to look at your screen and see what you're watching. And what was the name of the movie? It was a Jennifer Lawrence movie where she was like a spy. The name's going to elude me. Anyways, there's a handful of nude scenes, and it is the most uncomfortable feeling. I'm just trying to watch a movie. Like, I can't control what is put in the movie. I don't know this going into the movie. It's a brand new movie to me. However, I can just feel people looking over like, no, I'm not just going to whip it out and start tugging my meat in this plane because she's naked. However, I'm going to continue to watch this movie because I'm invested in it now.
I feel the same way when I traveled and pop a porno up on my screen and it's like, you're going to judge me? Like, you're the one looking at my screen too. Like,
Wi-Fi is free here, pal. You think I'm not going to take advantage of it? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not A-list or A-list preferred, so you got to pay $8 to watch a porn on the plane, but that's on you, not on me.
Divert your eyes if you don't want to watch it. All right, fine. I'll go to the bathroom with it.
Yeah, Jesus. Bunch of prudes on this
thing. Some people, I can't tell you. That's probably more of a reason why I haven't traveled in a while than actually needing to travel.
There's a ban, yeah.
No, I feel the same way. Like when you're watching, like whatever, even like some of the ones that have screens on there, like whether it's like Delta and American Airlines sometimes have the screen on the back, and it's like you pick a movie and it's like, no, this is their library of things. Like, don't judge me. I didn't. This is just here. I clicked it and like you should really talk to Delta about this because you're right. A lot of nude scenes here.
They're like, yeah, that's all well and good, but you've been pausing on the same scene for the past 20 minutes. So maybe there's a problem with the screen. Maybe there's a problem with you, but
they shouldn't put pause and rewind on there.
You get what you get. If you miss it, you miss it. That's on you. But don't go to the bathroom in the 2 hours that movie's on.
But no, to the similar when I traveled a lot though, like I'd get back home and then stuff would be like, oh, do you want to watch this movie? And I'd be like, no, I already watched it on the plane. Like, sorry, like I was bored. I didn't have anything to do.
I bought Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford, like probably almost close to a year ago. And I told my fiance, I was like, we'll watch this together. We'll watch this together. We'll watch this together. That might be the only movie I've ever done that with, because every other one that I say we're going to watch together, it's free game. If I'm traveling a lot, what do you want from me?
Right. It's like I could sit here and be bored, or I'm going to watch a movie and it'll make this go by so much quicker. But then if it's a good movie, though, you go, don't worry, I already watched it. It sucked. Or, yeah, it was great. I'll watch it again with you. So you're just doing them a favor. You're just screening, saving them time.
Yeah. There's some I wish that would have been screened for me. So me screening Suicide Squad to you, it was a good movie. It's very slapstick in terms of, it almost felt like a Tarantino movie with the way the violence was.
Okay.
Very played up, very gory. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. You almost have to look at it like an Expendables movie.
Okay.
Because the action's very played up. The storyline's not great, but you watch it because there's a star-studded cast and you enjoy it. I mean, Sylvester Stallone does the voice for Man Shark, which might be the best character in the movie. For whatever reason, they have a scene with John Cena where he's wearing nothing but whitey tighties, and they pan like from his belt up. So it's just, you just get like dong shot, and then they pan up to him. For whatever reason, they had to do that.
It was in his contract. Like, I will not do this movie unless you guys get a close up on my dong and move it all the way up.
Yeah. And by the way, the dong will be CGI'd to look like an elephant's trunk also. Don't forget to do that.
Mark Wahlberg and Boogie Nights.
just give me the full package, okay?
Right.
Anyways, let's move on from airplane porns and talk about our next subject. On a completely other note, Russia's making killer robots. So, reading through this article, it sounds like Russia has already generated a number of military robots. I didn't know that. That sounds terrible. Developed and deployed military robots in real-world conflicts. So I don't know what conflicts are taking place over in Russia, but they've already deployed these things. It sounds like on multiple occasions. And now they're to the point where it's like, hey, let's just keep this thing going. Let's make an entire army, and let's send them out there to do our bidding, which in terms of casualties, a fantastic thing. In terms of just waging war and having no casualties, seems kind of dangerous, because you fuck it, send out like 30 robots. We've got a whole factory of these things going now. So
just a matter of time until China hacks them, turns them against Russia, and then they just take Russia down. So I feel like you got to think of that. It's got to be like, I don't know, Terminator, but then you just hack them and turn them against each other, and
not only that, so they say that the AI has the ability to differentiate between friend or foe. However they're doing that, I have no idea. And it can even tell who's a civilian and who's not a civilian. So these things are smart enough to really tell who they should be pointing their guns at. Who's to say? I mean, we talked about this. Rod and I touched on this in our last episode. The people at the Boston Robotics lab that made that dog that everybody sees on the internet, that thing now has the capabilities to fake like the people are in control, while it buys its own time to be able to rewrite its programming so that it has free will.
Yeah, it's scary to think of. Like, I don't know. It'd be like any of those AI movies that you watch with that. That makes me what's
iRobot's the one I think of.
Ex Machina. That's the one I think of. Have you seen
Oh,
oh my gosh!
yes.
Every time I watch it, I'm just like, all right, maybe some of these people around me are that, and we just don't know it.
Or even Westworld. If you ever watch Westworld, same concept.
I haven't gotten into that yet. I think I tried watching like one of the first episodes, and it's hard to get into that when I can't get Steph into the show, because it's like I feel like that one's you really need to sit down and watch it, and then I can't find the time to just do it myself.
Absolutely, you really do have to invest in it, because just the twists and turns that it takes, you have to really hone in on the story, and it kind of bounces from story to story until they kind of culminate into one towards the end. I believe there's only like 3 seasons of it, though, 2 or 3 seasons of it. I don't know if it got picked up for a 4th ever. So if you ever do get the time, I would invest in watching it. However, lock yourself in a quiet room to where you can pay attention, because there's a lot of little details that take place.
What about Watchmen? Have you watched that series at all?
I just got through episode 1. I had Kit on a few weeks ago now. She recommended Watchmen, with it being in the DC universe. Episode 1, fantastic. I can't wait to watch more. Probably something I'll be downloading for the flights home coming up in the next, on Friday. So that'll be one that I'll have to pay attention to, and just I can't wait to binge that one. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie.
Yeah.
But I think there's so much story to develop that it would have been better off as a TV show in the first place. So there's only a couple seasons of that so far, right? 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think just 2. Maybe there is 3, but that's another one I need to sit down and get invested in. And it's after watching Invincible and The Boys, it's kind of like, all right, I need another fix until they come out with another season of either of those. So
in Invincible, probably the best show I've ever watched. And they're only one season in, and it might be a front runner for one of the best shows I've ever watched. The Boys, fantastic. We touched on Game of Thrones earlier, and that was a fantastic show right up until that last season, season 8. However, in line with Game of Thrones, scientists discovered a dinosaur fossil that seems suspiciously like a dragon. Now, I don't know what suspiciously like a dragon is, because this thing just kind of looks like a really fucked up pterodactyl to me.
Right.
However, maybe they're finding, something in the bone structure to where, like, say there was an expanded rib cage and it had this extra sac that they could spit fire or something like that. Like, I don't know how scientists actually put all this shit together in the first place, but I'm fully invested in the belief that there were dragons at one point. I mean, if a meteor came and took all these things out, who's to say there wasn't a possibility of dragons? I mean, honestly.
Right. Somebody had to think of it anyway, so it had to come from somewhere, of somebody going, this thought of it to what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And where there's smoke, there's fire. And which a great line from our buddy Steve. And Steve, who many of you may know, is one of our friends over at CBD Brothers USA. And every time I talk to him, he just feeds me new conspiracy theories. We haven't had a chance to talk about this one too much. But Steve and Steve Squared, Vegan Steve, Sexy Steve, as they like to call themselves that. I've never called them that. I've called him Vegan Steve. I've never called the other one Sexy Steve. I've called him Handsome Steve, platonic attraction male Steve. I've called him that before. Never Sexy Steve. These guys are cooking up the real deal over there at CBD Brothers USA. Everything you can need from, even just a little bit of if you're feeling, maybe down, maybe some anxiety. The tincture is really good for that, as well as inflammation. That's a huge thing. And if you talk to Vegan Steve, part of the whole reason he became vegan was due to inflammation that builds up in the way you eat and the way you take care of yourself. And that's part of why they created CBD Brothers USA. The tinctures, the salves, the chews. If you have a hard time getting to sleep, or if you have a hard time staying asleep, you can get the melatonin CBD gummies. Those will help you get a nice long nap. And if you want, maybe 7-8 hours, which is what we've been told from the start is good for the human body. If you've got a rambunctious dog like myself, I don't have the example of him being passed out in the background like I normally do. The CBD tinctures, they've got little CBD chews you can just throw into their food as well.
That works pretty well.
Huge.
Oh yeah, our boxer's like that. I've been trying to get my wife. Hey, we got to get some CBD. So maybe we have to pop on and buy some CBD off these guys for the dog here.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you said that, because if you use the code IDIOTSONMIC, you're going to get 25% off and free shipping. That's IDIOTSONMIC, IDIOTSONMIC for 25% off and free shipping. Let's get back to it. Apex predators, pterodactyls with some new. They're calling it. I'm gonna fuck this up. Thapangaka. Shall we? That's bullshit. That's a made up name. I don't know what Latin word that comes from, but they just for people like me who can't fully grasp the English language, they just put it there so I sound like an asshole when I'm trying to pronounce it. But they say a few fossils have been found. Terrifying creatures that lived, hunted, and flourished millions of years ago. I don't know that there's a single creature a million years ago that wasn't terrifying, though. So maybe this is just a little fluff piece for dinosaurs. Like, I imagine a dinosaur wrote this.
They're not that great. Where are they today? That's what I want to know. You're so great. Why aren't you here?
Do you think we could survive? Do you think we have the weaponry to survive a comet or a meteor that came to hit Earth? I would like to think so at this point.
I've seen that movie. We've got Bruce Willis. It would happen. We would blow it up. We'd be fine. We
do have Bruce Willis. I mean, he'd have to sacrifice himself, but fuck him, I guess. Like, it is what it is. Hey, remember how you played a guy who blew up a comet that was going to Earth? We're going to need you to really do that.
We're going to need you to do that again, but for real this time.
Yeah, but without the CGI and shit. This is full tilt. You're going to go ahead and do it.
Bring Ben Affleck with you, because I don't want to see him as Batman ever again.
Oh, would you rather see Robert Pattinson? Because that's where we're going.
Oh, look who decided to join. Mr. Daddy himself.
Mr. Daddy himself. Glad he could join. Don't stay on too long. We don't want you to get slaughtered by your now wife. Glad you could come in and call us stooges, though. And glad you can come in for this conversation as we kind of transition here into a more wild topic of conversation. NFL is cracking down on taunting. I don't have a segue for this. We're just going to move right into it. The NFL is cracking down on taunting.
like that's why people watch the NFL. They want to see this.
So just like Rod wants to see people fight in a gladiator ring, we want to see people taunt each other. Because guess what? It's hard just to make it to this professional level. You're telling me that this guy over here, can't tell this guy that he's a fucking stooge because he swatted a pass on him? Get out of here. Absolutely not. That's the best thing about football.
Well, and it leads up to say it's a division game. They play early on in the year, and then they're going to play again. Like, I want them taunting that first game because then more people are going to watch the second game to be like, I need to watch this because so-and-so is just totally going to get in the other guy's face. It's going to be great.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, me versus you, I know you live up in Wisconsin. You're a Packers fan probably by now, if I had to guess.
Ever.
That's fucked up. I shouldn't have done that.
You should see my desk. It's Bears stuff everywhere, and I'm the only guy in the office. I think there's two other guys from Chicago that work somewhere in the plant, and when I see them, we're like, we got that. All right, bro. I see you over there, repping the Cubs fans too. So you probably can't appreciate that. But
yeah.
At least they're Bears fans.
So what I like to do is in our friend group chat, we have a couple Browns fans, and I like to let them know that no matter how star-studded their lineups may be or their roster may be, they are not going to win a Super Bowl. And I love it because I'm pretty confident in saying that because the Browns are the Browns. And they're putting everything on the shoulders of Baker Mayfield. And I think he's going to develop a drug habit because he realizes how much pressure he has on him. And he really doesn't have to do much because he has Nick Chubb. He's got Jarvis Landry. He's got Kareem Hunt. He's got Odell Beckham. Not that I love all those players, but they are fantastic at the football. And then on the defensive side, they've got some guys. They've got a handful of guys.
They're going to be decent. Quick question: where is Aaron Rodgers going? If they start tanking early on, they're going to trade him so they can get something for him. But he's got to go to Denver. He's got to go to the Browns. He's got to go somewhere where he could be plugged in and they win a Super Bowl right away.
Yeah, I mean, you can completely rule out the NFC altogether just because the Packers aren't going to do that.
Maybe the Saints.
That's where I'd love to see him go. I would love to see it. I mean, does that suck for us? Yes, absolutely, because somehow every time we make it to the playoffs, we get steamrolled by the Saints in the first round of the playoffs, whether it's wild card or what have you. But I would love to see like a simple passing of the torch, which, by the way, let's not be certain that the Saints are going to be in a position to make a run because they're either going to have Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill at the helm. And I don't think either of those guys is going to be capable.
No.
But at the same time, like if Tim Tebow could take the Broncos to at least a playoff game and win that playoff game, I mean, maybe Taysom Hill. I wouldn't put my eggs in the Jameis Winston basket for sure. Not a chance.
Not unless you promise him some, was that Joe's Crab Shack? Then maybe he can go for it.
Hey, listen, man. On the other side of this season, we got you can own a Joe's Crab Shack franchise if that's what you want to do, and just eat as many crab legs as you want.
Right.
However, we got to get there. Okay. If you give us, if you give us one playoff win, you don't even take us to the Super Bowl. You give us one playoff win, then we could say, all right, we might have our guy, and we'll get you a Joe's Crab Shack franchise.
I hope he does, just so that they sign him to a long deal, and then they suck for a while. Just like, all right,
yeah. And yeah, so my thing is, I think Rodgers plays through this full year no matter what, because they restructured his contract to opt out for the 2023 season, I believe.
Okay.
So I think he plays through this year with Green Bay, potentially goes somewhere, he gets traded off for his last year, and then if he wants to opt out and kind of play the field a little bit, some team will pay top dollar to get him in his last few seasons, which we don't even know if it's his last few seasons. Like, yeah, that's when his contract ends, sure, but he's still playing. As much as I hate to say it, he's playing high caliber football.
I still hate him.
It's easy to do. It's easy to do.
Yeah. But, hey.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens.
It'll be a fun season.
So this is the moment I've been waiting for. We've been waiting the entire episode for this. Mountain Dew is coming out with a hard seltzer, the Mountain Dew seltzer. So you've got the original, you've got black cherry, and you've got watermelon. Not sure why they chose these logos, where the decision for these logos came. But if you're going to drink a Mountain Dew hard seltzer, yeah, you need to put something pretty fucking baller on there. So we've got an eagle, a bear, and a snake. Hey, I'll drink those bear ones. On Sundays, Sundays ain't for kissing titties anymore. Sundays are for drinking hard dews with the boys and watching Bears football.
Bear down. I'll drink to that.
So you also were in the era of the Four Loko, correct?
Oh yeah, that was gosh, what did they do? I can't remember what it was. I was in college and people were doing the Four Loko challenge and like kids were dying on campus. And then they changed it somehow. I can't remember if there was just like more alcohol content or there was more caffeine, or I can't even remember what the challenge was, but then they switched it. But then Four Lokos were still a big thing. Like everybody was like, we're partying tonight, who's bringing Four Lokos? And then you'd stop at the liquor store and be like, yeah, I have to bring one. Like, but it's definitely in that era.
Yeah. And the Four Loko era it went something like this. Are you on a budget? Do you want to spend $3 to black out? Because we can do that for you. But here's the thing. While your mind shuts off, your body is going to be going 200% because we also have caffeine in this. So I hope you enjoy that. While you're going to want to take a nap, while your body's going to want to kind of wind down, you are going to be in a club, in a party, wherever you may be while you suck down this ever so eccentric beverage. And you're going to have to piece the night together the next morning. You're going to end up somewhere you don't want to be or you didn't anticipate being. Enjoy that because you're going to do it again next weekend because the thrill is fucking awesome. No matter how much you hate yourself the next day, you're going to do it again.
But when you scroll up on the picture itself, it's only 5% alcohol, where I think the Four Lokos are like 14.5. Something insane. I was telling you before the show, so we had an intern this year. He just turned 21 when he started. And so, after work a couple times, you go out to the bar with him and you have your normal thing you normally get, like, this type of beer. And this kid is trying everything because he's never, I'm sure he's had beer before, but it's like he's never experienced all of this. And then one day at work, he just started talking about Four Lokos. I was like, all right, yeah. So I was telling you before, I got him some Four Lokos, and I was like, please do not drink these both in one night so you don't die. Your parents aren't mad at me. But you look at these and you just think of Mountain Dew in general, and like, are these going to be super sweet, or are they going to be like, what happens if it comes out? It's like, it's the perfect like hard seltzer, and you're like, all right, Mountain Dew knows what they're doing, but I have a feeling it'll be a letdown. It'll be too much like it says no sugar, but it'll be like a too much flavor, sugary taste to it. I don't know.
That's like a syrupy kind of taste. Yeah.
Yeah. Where I'm sure I'm gonna try them when they come out. I feel like when those drinks come out, when it was the Bud Light Platinum seltzers, when those came out, I was like, all right, I gotta try it. And then I think it was the holiday pack, and you're like, you gotta try the holiday pack. And then they just had the tie dye pack, which was amazing.
Those stunk.
You didn't like them?
No, I hated them. The like retro summer pack.
Yeah. And then
Fuck 'em.
I'm a sucker for flavored stuff. So I think I sent you guys a picture a couple weekends ago. I was at a wedding for a friend, and wherever we were at, they had Busch Light apple everywhere. Delicious. Oh, so good.
It's flying off shelves here. You can't even find it right now. We are. I mean, same with you. You're in BFE. We're in BFE as well back home, and when you're in BFE, the Bud Light apples just soar off the shelves.
They're delicious. People know what's up. I think I gave it. I'm trying to think who was hanging out with last weekend, and I gave them one, and my friends were like, "These are good." I was like, "Don't drink all of them. I only bought one case, and I want to try it myself." So.
Have you ever had the Bud Light lemonades?
Yep, I have had those.
Probably top tier summer drink for me. I love those. They're perfect. The sweater pack or the Christmas pack, like you were talking about, was phenomenal because they have like a ginger ale one, and it's just hard ginger ale. And if they made an entire pack of just those, I'd be set.
Have you had the Michelob Ultras? They make a seltzer pack too, and one of them's a spicy pineapple. It almost tastes like a ginger. It's not too
really
bad. Yeah, I recommend it.
I haven't tried those
that
yet.
Pack. Yeah, they're not bad, but I could see myself as soon as these come out. Does it have a date when these will be released? Because it's like
I don't believe so. I think they should be, if I'm not mistaken.
Early 2022.
Early 2022.
That makes sense. I feel like Super Bowl commercial. Wait for it. It's coming. It's going to be that.
Yeah. You're right. And here's the thing. Looking at these cans, this looks like if Axe body spray made a hard seltzer. If Axe or Old Spice went into the seltzer game, this is exactly what the cans would look like too.
Maybe they called because what was it? Was it Mountain Dew commercials that were like that? Mountain Dew had like those weird ones where it was like the puppy monkey baby thing. Was that a Mountain Dew thing?
Yeah.
Do you remember those commercials?
Uh-huh.
It was like that was a total between Mountain Dew, Old Spice, and Axe of like the weird commercials. And this falls right in line with it.
Those were right when like the Mountain Dew Kickstarts, I think, became a thing.
Yeah.
The Funky Monkey Baby.
Yeah. And that thing was just going around, and it's like you can't not forget that, like, because it's so bad and it's burned into your mind. It's like, what is that?
But it didn't make me drink them, but yeah, I had the like Mountain Dew in the back of my head, and I was like, maybe a regular Mountain Dew, but I don't need to go out of my way to get one of these Kickstarts.
That's a big thing up in our part of Wisconsin is Diet Mountain Dew. Everywhere has it on like their fountain drink. I think it's like a middle-aged white man drink. Diet Mountain Dew. You like go somewhere and like the guys that I'm with are like, yeah, Diet Mountain Dew, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, ugh.
The fuck is that? Why? Like, why?
It's got caffeine in it. Like, get a coffee. What's wrong with you?
Right. I'd rather drink a black coffee than a Diet Mountain Dew. But yeah. I mean, that's the same by us too. Like, if I'm in a pinch and if I want some carbonation, I go with a Diet Dew. You gotta go with a Diet Dew.
You're a middle-aged white man.
I am aging like milk though, but I mean, it's horrible.
I don't even know you anymore.
Let's end the show with a couple predictions. We talked a little bit about football. I want to get your take on the predictions for Super Bowls this year. You think Tampa's repeating?
I think they go to the Super Bowl. I don't think they repeat. And I think I think Tom Brady hangs it up after this year.
Ooh, you think so?
Yep.
Didn't he just sign for 2 more? Like he at the beginning of last year, I think it was. He signed for 2 years.
Yeah, you'd have to read that contract though. He might have a way out of it.
Probably. They say, yeah, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
All right, who are they going to the Super Bowl against? Chiefs again?
I don't think the Chiefs make it. I think you get a new contender. I think you get somebody like the Bills. I think the Bills come up.
Bills are. I like the Chargers.
I don't think the Chargers will make it. Justin Herbert in his second year, no way.
I mean, it was Patty Mahomes in his second year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not comparing the two. I think there's still a lot to be.
It could be. Steelers can make a run too. You think Roethlisberger in his last year? Not that any.
That's because he's done jerking off.
Right? Not that any of your friends want to hear that. Being Browns fans.
Fuck
them. Titans can make another run. I mean, they could be a dark horse come through and get the way there. And
hardly a dark horse anymore with Julio Jones and AJ Brown on opposite sides of the ball.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry up the gut.
Tannehill will still take off running. I'm not gonna throw this. I'm just gonna run with it.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. I would actually take the Titans. I think this year.
I think they could do it because I can't remember who ended up where last year because didn't the Chiefs come from behind and they were down. Was it Houston? Did they play Houston? Houston was up big on them.
They were down. They were down 2 or 3 games leading up to the Super Bowl, weren't they?
Yeah. And then
24-point deficits too, or some wild. It's just fucking wild.
So I think they could. I think definitely the Titans could do it. Bills would be. You think no one else is going to compete with them. Patriots won't be there. Jets won't. Jaguars won't be close. I don't know.
What do you mean? They have the savior.
What happens if they do when they're like, everyone's hurt at quarterback. We're going to need you to come in, Tebow. And he's like, I can do it. I'm waiting for this my whole life.
I never thought you guys would ask me back.
Right? Well,
he went from NFL quarterback to minor league baseball player, which, judging from his stats, not a terrible minor league baseball player by any means. No. He certainly had some pop in his bat. Saved a guy's life. Didn't he perform CPR or something?
Sure. He's all around. I don't know. ESPN analysis, he's everything. And then he could just be like, no, I'm done. I'm going to live off of what I've just earned for everything that I've done.
He's the reincarnation of Jesus. Well, and that's the thing. He doesn't have a ton of spot. I mean, maybe he does, but you don't see him in a lot of commercials.
No,
he did
any endorsements.
He did jockey T-shirts or something like that a while ago.
I think he has his own line of apparel, though. I think he does. I forget what it's called. It's called Tebow something or other. But he's got T-shirts that I've seen out there.
Let's see if he wants to collaborate with the idiots for a T-shirt.
Yeah, just start.
You guys are fucking sinners. Not a chance.
If he listens to this episode, he's be like, yeah, porn on a plane. Yeah, okay. Try a Bible next time.
Yeah, you're reading about aliens. Maybe read the words of the Lord from time to time and see what that gets you. All right, we'll wrap it up there for today. Tommy, thank you for filling in. I know sometimes your schedule can be hectic, so we're certainly glad that we could have you on. I know you shouted out your Olympic pal earlier. Is there anybody else that you'd like to give some words to?
No, just you guys. You got a wedding coming up soon, and Mr. Daddy being on his honeymoon. Where did he go? Where is he at?
Jamaica,
nice. There you go. And then, yeah, just shout out to you guys. You keeping this thing going. It's episode 54, and this is awesome. I enjoy listening to you guys. It's fun to be a part of it, and keep doing what you're doing. And I'm excited that everything you guys got going on, weddings, honeymoons, you have kids soon, and to keep doing this stuff. It's great. So
slow down.
I was talking more Mr. Daddy than you. It fits his name.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He might have kids already. We don't know.
Right? Yeah. But no, it's exciting times coming up. So I'm happy for you guys. And like I said, shout out to you
guys.
Keep it going.
And we might be getting more legit here. So when we do schedule the marathon episode, and I apologize for those who were highly anticipating that. There was some things that came up that we just couldn't work around. However, we might be in a studio for the marathon episode. I don't like. Yep.
Big time.
Yeah, big time. That's right. Like Paul Rudd and Yes Man. You ever sseen that? Slapping the bees. The big time.
Yeah. He is hilarious.
Oh, him and Chris Pratt might be the funniest actors right now.
Gotta watch his Conan videos.
Chris Rudd? Pratt?
No, Paul Rudd.
Oh, Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, Conan. It's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have some things to binge for the next couple hours before I pass out on this lovely king size bed here. Gonna catch up on Rick and Morty. I got a few episodes to catch up on. By the way, I was in Cleveland a couple months ago. And typically what I do is I'll take the HDMI cord from the TV or the cable box. I'll plug it in my laptop. So I have like dual screen. It's really overkill when you have like a 40-inch dual screen TV laptop deal going on. So I go to do that. Lo and behold, someone left a Chromecast there. Guess who is the proud owner of a new Chromecast?
Attaboy.
That shit comes everywhere with me. A little 5-finger discount. And here's the thing, though. Even if I took that up to the front desk, they can't prove that it was the person before me that owned it. So,
unless it's the hotels and it's going to show up on your bill.
It won't show up on my bill. It'll show up on a company's bill.
That works, though. I like
it. Weird. I don't know how that happened, but
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, what are you watching? Oh, just this thing on my Chromecast here. But we'll wrap it up there for today. Thanks again. And for me, I want to shout out Graham. Thank you for chiming in. Your grandson does have some issues. We cannot afford the professional help that he needs as a quote unquote company with idiots on a mic. So we just let him air it out once a week on the internet and hope people kind of fall in line with what he's thinking. But until next time, friends, as always, you and your old ass Manhattan. There she goes. It's gone. Wow, look at you.
Gone. I just got a little sip left.
You're going to go stumble to bed and disappoint your wife now?
It's like every night. Nothing new.
You and LaRussa have that in common.
I could be the manager of the Sox.
Yeah. As always, friends, cheers.